Always a villain and never a bride. No, wait, that's not right. We open on a party where Wonder Woman is actually out of her normal costume for once, as well as apparently Batman. Though it's questionable whether she knows that Bruce is Batman.
Thank you, Mr.
Wayne. Bruce Wayne.
I appreciate the rescue.
I'm surprised to see you here. From what I've heard, this isn't really your sort of affair.
I've decided to get out more. Have a little fun.
Briefly, this is another little romance, except it goes nowhere in the end, with Wonder Woman throwing every single signal towards Batman, but he either doesn't notice or just isn't interested. Either way, what an idiot. At the party is Princess Audrey, the heir to the Kasnian throne. Kasnia being a made-up country that's brought up during several episodes inside the DCAU. She's suddenly attacked and almost kidnapped, which both Wonder Woman and Batman respond to. But Bruce sees that Diana can handle it, so he just watches.
Oh, is this popular?
Yes, although my admirers are usually unarmed.
Audrey recruits Diana as her personal bodyguard for the night and companion, as she celebrates what little time she has left as a single woman. Meanwhile, Batman tries to stop a trio of burglars, two of whom get away, leaving the third behind to be interrogated by Batman, who proves that justice speaks many languages, including Kasnian.
Who are you working for? Ertem etashtornemat.
We also see the man the burglars are reporting to, which will become important in just a minute. Later, Diana meets Audrey's fiancé, Vandal Savage, and acts accordingly.
Do you have any idea who he is?
Diana,
Vandal Savage is a Nazi war criminal. He was...
My grandfather,
What?
Vandal Savage III. A pleasure to meet you.
We also see the same man from before approach Savage during the scene. Now, Vandal Savage is a well-known figure in DC Comics, so yes, you might expect he's the villain for the episode, despite what he says. Hell, out of the 3 episodes that he appears in, he's the villain in 2 of them, and in the 3rd he caused the goddamn issue in the first place. But we'll get to that later on in the list. In space, we see Kasnian operatives boarding the space station, which they've been heavily supporting. They then take the space station hostage, while Savage gives the King of Kasnia poison to make it look like a stroke. Upon hearing the news about the king, Wonder Woman goes after Audrey but is knocked out by Savage's henchmen. Audrey, in a surprisingly serious mindset given how she's been acting, announces she will take up responsibility as ruler and that her marriage to Savage will go ahead immediately. Batman gets word to Diana about what's happening as we get one of the best sequences in this entire show. It's Wonder Woman and Batman trying to reach Audrey as her wedding takes place. It's just fantastic.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the presence of God and His company that Princess Audrey II of Kasnia and Vandal Savage may be united in holy matrimony. This relationship...
Diana manages to make it to the wedding, but Audrey doesn't listen and Wonder Woman is zapped by Savage. Why Audrey then goes through the wedding doesn't make too much sense here, but we'll get to that later. Later on, Audrey talks to Wonder Woman, still not believing her. Until, of course, Savage appears on every TV in the world, because shut up, and announces that he's holding the world hostage and wants to be made king of it. Flash and the 2 Johns are on the watchtower when this message comes through and go to stop the railgun on the space station, whilst Batman frees Wonder Woman. Audrey questions what Savage is talking about as he reveals his backstory, that he's immortal and that he did poison her father. Audrey tries to attack Savage, but is taken away. The trio in space work on removing all the Kasnians from the space station as Wonder Woman and Batman find Audrey, the 3 of them working their way to the control room. Savage is able to fire off another shot from the railgun, but Batman changes the control setting, forcing it to aim at the palace that they're currently in. Everyone escapes except for Savage as the meteor, the ammunition for the railgun, decimates the place. However, Savage is revealed to be still alive, but is now captured and hopefully locked away for good. I'll give you a hint. He isn't. At the end of the episode, Wonder Woman asks Batman about finishing their dance from the beginning.
You know, we never did get to finish our dance.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you say so, but you're still taking me dancing.
Which brings it to an end. Similar to Metamorphosis, this episode has the characters acting like real people, making this episode great to watch. And the fact it focuses so heavily on Wonder Woman for the most part works as well, since we've seen bits of her life during episodes like Fury in the first season, but this covers her life outside of the Amazons. Diana comes out of her stern shell thanks to Audrey and wants to repay her by protecting her, something that she's used to. It's only Audrey's distrust, mostly placed by Savage, that causes the actual issue. But that is a bit of a problem. You've got Savage, who looks far too close to his supposed ancestor, and he's hanging around with a scar-faced, voice box wearing heavy, and he shoots Wonder Woman with a stun gun right in front of Audrey. And yet she finds none of this odd, especially the stun gun part, and then still marries him. And it doesn't seem like Audrey is really that dumb either, so why have her play the damsel in distress role here, as well as Wonder Woman to an extent? Really, we didn't need to see the others go after the space station. It would have been more interesting to watch Audrey, Batman and Wonder Woman take back Audrey's kingdom, as at the end of the day, the other team didn't stop the railgun, it was Batman's reprogramming. An idea that comes to mind as well would be holding off seeing Vandal Savage for an episode, as we know he's got to be the bad guy for this, especially since we see the henchman who was in charge of the burglars. This though is backed up by the fact that Wonder Woman brings Jean in on this mission, as he was one of the few who actually met Savage during a previous episode. And during that episode, Savage shows Jean an image of himself on a laptop sent from the future, where Savage has not aged a day. He should have known it was him and that any documents he could have found might have been forged. He could have also come and read his mind and found out, but I've often found simple ideas like that get a little overlooked. I'll admit, with every step down this list, it becomes trickier to find problems with these episodes, and this is likely the start of every episode being good, except for one or two minor flaws. So I guess that's why this episode acts as the maid of honor for this list, at number 15. Hey people, and thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the next one of these a full day before anybody else, you can do that by supporting me on my Patreon page. However, if you're watching this on my Patreon page, then thanks for your support.